In this unit, you are going to learn about nouns, definite and indefinite articles, modifying adjectives, and the expressions there is, there are. Most nouns in English do not have gender. Friend is both amico and amica. Teacher is maestro and maestra. Professore and professoressa. Child is bambino and bambina. A few nouns do have separate forms depending on whether what is being referred to is masculine or feminine. For example, actor, actress, prince, princess, Boy Scout, Girl Scout. But the only really important difference in noun forms is between singular and plural. To form the regular plural of nouns, we add s to the noun. Look at these examples. Boy, boys. Ragazzo, ragazzi. Girl, girls. Ragazza, ragazze. Car, cars. Macchina, macchine. Train, trains. Treno, treni. Name, names. Nome, nomi. To nouns that end in s or double s, sh, ch, x or z, we add es to form the plural. In these cases, the es ending is pronounced as a separate syllable. Here are some examples. Bus, buses. Kiss, kisses. Wish, wishes. Church, churches. Box, boxes. Buzz, buzzes. We also add es to form the plural of tomato and potato. Tomatoes, potatoes. When nouns end in y preceded by a consonant, we change the y to I and add es to form the plural. Baby, babies. Copy, copies. Secretary, secretaries. In these cases, the es ending is not a separate syllable. Remember that for the plural of nouns that end in y preceded by a vowel, there is no spelling change. Simply add s. Boy, boys. Key, keys. Ashtray, ashtrays. There are also nouns with irregular plurals. Here are the ones that you will probably need to use often. Man, men. Uomo, uomini. Woman, women. Donna, donne. Child, children. Bambino, bambini. Person, people. Persona, persone. Wife, wives. Moglie, mogli. Knife, knives. Coltello, coltelli. Tooth, teeth. Dente, denti. Foot, feet. Piede, piedi. The compound forms of these nouns follow the same rules. The plural of postman, postino, is postmen. The plural of policewoman, poliziotta, is policewomen. The plural of housewife, casalinga, is housewives. Not all nouns have plural forms. We use the term countable nouns when what we are referring to can be counted. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 100 chairs, sedie, books, libri, dogs, cani, people, persone, pencils, matite. These are countable nouns. We use the term uncountable nouns when what we are referring to cannot be counted. Think about the following words in Italian: bestiame, gente, cancelleria, biancheria. These words have no plural forms. They are uncountable nouns. We'll look now at what the definite and indefinite articles are in English and return to the differences between countable and uncountable nouns after that. It is an important difference because it determines what definite and indefinite articles can be used and whether a singular or plural verb is used. But now, articles. The definite article used with both singular and plural nouns is the. The corresponds to il, lo, la, I, gli, le. We say the boy, the boys, the girl, the girls, the car, the cars, the train, the trains. The definite article is always written in the same way, but is pronounced in two different ways. Before words that begin with a consonant sound, its pronunciation is the in these examples: the train, the university, the home, the water. Before words that begin with a vowel sound, including words that begin with a silent H, its pronunciation is the, as in these examples: the apple, the hour, the umbrella, the MP. Note that the way the article is pronounced does not depend on the letter we see at the beginning of the word that follows. It depends on the sound we hear at the beginning of that word. This is why we say the university and the MP. If you find it difficult to decide whether a word begins with a silent H, remember that you hear the H at the beginning of most words. The words that begin with a silent H that are used most often are our, honest, honour. The singular indefinite article in English is a. It corresponds to uno, un, una, and is used before singular countable nouns that begin with a consonant sound. A man, a woman, a book, a car, a university. Before singular countable nouns that begin with a vowel sound, the indefinite article is an hour, an umbrella, an MP, an apple. It is the word that immediately follows the indefinite article that determines whether it is a or an. If we talk about an honest man, we use an. But if we speak of a famous actress, we use a. With plural nouns, we use the indefinite article some. which corresponds to dei, delle, degli. Some books, some men, some umbrellas, some apples. We cannot use the singular indefinite article a or an with uncountable nouns, but we can use some, which in this case corresponds to del, dello, della. Some stationery, cancelleria. Some sugar, zucchero. Some money, denaro. Some toothpaste, dentifricio. When you need to specify quantity for uncountable nouns, you must specify a quantity of something which we do count. A kilo of sugar, 2 tubes of toothpaste, 3 pieces of paper, or you must use a countable word. Instead of money, you could say $100. Some words which are countable nouns in Italian are uncountable English. Here is a list of those you will probably need to use often. Advice, consigli. Equipment, attrezzi. Furniture, mobili. Hair, capelli. Homework, compiti a casa. Information, informazione. Money, soldi, denaro. News, notizie. Spaghetti, spaghetti. Work, lavoro. Because you are accustomed to thinking of these as countable nouns in Italian with singular and plural forms, you'll have to concentrate a bit and remember that in English they are uncountable nouns. So, you can never use a or an with these words. You cannot make these words plural by adding s. You must use the singular form of the verb with these words. You must use this and that with these words. You cannot use these or those. You must use the subject pronoun it, never they, to refer to these words. Look at these examples. Her hair is blonde. Their new furniture is very nice. The news is good. Is that spaghetti good? Yes, it's delicious. Is this information correct? Yes, it is. Where is the new equipment? It's over there. Is this your money? No, it isn't. It is important to remember that in Italian, the definite article is used more frequently than in English. For example, in English, when we speak about people's work, we always use a or an. Alberto fa l'insegnante e sua sorella Anna fa l'attrice. In English is Alberto is a teacher and his sister Anna is an actress. With few exceptions, the names of countries are used without definite articles. We do say the United States, or the US, or the USA, or even the States. The United Kingdom, or the UK. The Union of South Africa. But we do not use the with the names of other countries. La Francia is France. L'Italia is Italy. Il Giappone is Japan. Il Brasile is Brazil. We also omit the when we speak about meals. Breakfast, lunch, supper, dinner. I have breakfast at 7, not I have the breakfast. We never use the with an individual person's surname, as is sometimes done in Italian. But we do use the with family names in the plural to refer to a couple or a family. The Smiths, the Clintons, the Thatchers, the Laganas. The is also omitted before courtesy titles. Mr., Mrs., Miss, Ms. La signora Brown is Mrs. Brown. Il signor Jones is Mr. Jones. When we speak about parts of the body, we normally use possessive adjectives, not the definite article. My hand hurts for mi fa male la mano. Jane's washing her hair for Jane sta lavando I capelli. Jack fell and broke his leg for Jack è caduto e si è rotta la gamba. In general, we use the definite article only when referring to someone or something specific, something definite. An article must always be used with singular countable nouns. But if it is not clear which one we mean, we use the indefinite article, not the definite article. Therefore, the first time we refer to something, we normally use an indefinite article. I have a car. After this, when speaking of something specific, the definite article can be used. I bought the car 2 years ago. It is a mistake to omit articles with singular countable nouns. I have car and I bought car 2 years ago are mistakes. With uncountable nouns and plural countable nouns used in a generic sense, the definite article is omitted. Here are examples of countable nouns used in a generic sense. Note that we do not use the. Computers are not very expensive. Big dogs are nicer than small dogs. Roses are red. Violets are blue. This is also true when uncountable nouns are used in a generic sense. Sugar is sweet. Nature is wonderful. I had spaghetti for lunch. Furniture is expensive. When what you refer to is someone or something specific, you do use the definite article. The roses in my garden are red. The furniture we bought is expensive. The spaghetti I had for lunch was delicious. You'll probably find using articles correctly difficult, and it is true that people will probably understand you even if you make mistakes. But try to remember to omit the definite article when speaking of things in general. Our next topic is modifying adjectives. In Italian, adjectives are generally placed after the nouns they modify. But in English, adjectives are generally placed before nouns. At first, you may find it difficult to remember that macchina rossa is red car and libro nuovo is new book. But with a little practice, you'll remember to put adjectives before nouns. Remember too that while adjectives in Italian have masculine and feminine, singular and plural forms, adjectives in English are invariable. We say interesting book. We also say interesting books. Here are some other examples. New car, new cars. New book, new books. American man, American men. American women, American women. It is a mistake to say interesting's books. Adjectives have no plural forms. In English, one noun can modify another noun. For example, car salesman, venditore di macchine. In such cases, the noun which acts as a modifier is placed before the noun modified, and the modifier is singular. You can say car salesman or car salesman, venditore di macchine, but cars salesman and cars salesmen are mistakes. Look at these additional examples of nouns modifying other nouns. Bus driver, autista di pullman. Science teacher, insegnante di scienze. Record player, giradischi. University student, studente universitario. The plural forms are bus drivers, science teachers, record players, university students. Remember that modifiers in English are almost always singular in form. All adjectives which refer to nationality or religion are written with a capital first letter, as in these examples: American, British, French, Italian, Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, Protestant. There is one last point in this unit. There, as the subject of sentences, in the expressions there is for c'è and there are for ci sono. I don't think you'll find it difficult to use these expressions. You can say, there's a good restaurant in this town, for c'è un buon ristorante in questo paese. There are excellent museums in Turin, means ci sono degli ottimi musei a Torino. In questions, use is there, are there? Is there a restaurant in this town? C'è un ristorante in questo paese? Are there museums in Oviedo? Ci sono musei ad Oviedo. In negative sentences, add not after is or are. There is not, or the contracted form, there isn't. There are not, or the contracted form, there aren't. The negative short answers to questions with is there and are there use these contracted forms. Is there a restaurant in this town? No, there isn't. Are there museums in this town? No, there aren't. Remember that in affirmative short answers, you cannot use contracted forms. Is there a restaurant in this town? Yes, there is. Are there museums in Milan? Yes, there are. That is the end of the second lesson. Now you can do the exercises on the grammar points presented in this lesson.